Well, if you have a second, why don't you get everybody up to speed? What's going on. Obviously, this is a more or less a mirror bill of what they just passed in Georgia, and of course, so now just try to add in a whole bunch of things to make it even more difficult for people to vote.
Right. And so, look, this is a historically bad legislative session, I just have to say. I think part of it has to do with the fact that the legislature and the leadership of the legislature is using COVID-19 to shut down the Capitol and to prevent citizens from observing the process and to prevent people's voices from being heard, for example, in public comment and committee meetings and so on. And, what happens when you have probably one of the most ideologically right-wing Senate presidents and speakers, along with Governor DeSantis, during an environment like this, well, you get some really, really bad bills. Yesterday, things were moving very quickly. We thought that we had killed the ban on transgender athletes participating in sports, but they brought that back and amended it into a broader bill about charter schools, and it rapidly passed the House. They limited debate on it to 3 hours. They TP'd nearly all of our amendments, and it went over to the Senate immediately thereafter, and they ruled out of order all the Democratic amendments on that bill and passed it pretty much in short order over the objections, even of a Republican lawmaker, a Republican senator who has a transgender child. And so, that's the kind of stuff that we've been seeing throughout this session. This is now our second time hearing SB 90, the voter suppression bill here in Florida. It has been amended several times. And while it is a less egregious version of the original bill, it's still a voter suppression bill. The purpose of the bill is to make it harder for Floridians to vote, harder for Floridians to access the ballot. It is also to make it more expensive for supervisors of elections to do the sorts of things that encourage voter participation. For example, it requires supervisors to man physically drop boxes where people are dropping off their ballots while not providing them any additional funding for this. In addition to that, it prohibits supervisors of elections from placing drop boxes at any place where they do not have a permanent branch office. So they are only allowed to put drop boxes at their main
So that's
office,
two.
right, at their main office or at early voting sites. But as you know, there are not many early voting sites, and in large and populous counties, for example, like Palm Beach County, Broward County, Miami-Dade County, the distance between a person's home and that drop box site may be serious. The traffic may be serious. Folks oftentimes do not have access to vehicles. They may not have transportation. And that's why it made sense for supervisors of elections to place drop box in neighborhoods, in community centers, and in other secure places, government buildings, city halls, town halls, so on and so forth, so that folks can have access to the ballot, and so that folks will not have to rely on a postal service that is being actively sabotaged by a Trump appointee in order to get their ballots in on time. In addition to that, it creates a crime of possessing two or more ballots, more than two ballots that are not your own in a single election. And this whole issue of, what Republicans call ballot harvesting is interesting. I recognize that some of my Democratic colleagues are afraid to talk about this in a way that makes sense, because the polling on the words ballot harvesting is not good. But you can't just govern based off polling. Here's the question. If I have a vote by mail ballot and I put that ballot by the way, I'm an eligible voter. I fill out that ballot. I put it in the envelope. I sign the envelope, put all the other information on it that allows the supervisor of elections to verify that it was me. My signature matches. What changes when I hand that ballot to another person? Does that ballot somehow become less legitimate? Does that ballot somehow become corrupt because I have allowed someone who's not my immediate family, perhaps a coworker, perhaps a friend, perhaps my girlfriend? Well, I'm married now, but if I were not married, nothing changed. Ballots are not Schrodinger's cats of elections. They don't change or somehow become corrupt or disappear upon observance. So anyway, the point is, this is a bill to make voting more difficult and to make it harder for supervisors of elections to do the sorts of things that allow folks to participate more easily in our democracy.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.